It's very unfortunate what's happening in Australia, and our thoughts are with everyone that's affected by the bushfires all around Australia. So at the end of the day, cricket's very insignificant to what is happening there in terms of, like you said, the loss of life, and a lot of wildlife is unfortunately perished as well. So I think all we can do as players is try and bring some good performances and bring some excitement and hopefully some smiles on faces of some people who are doing it very tough at the moment. I think there's been a little bit of a changeover, obviously, with a few guys going out and a few young guys coming in particular. I think probably the one difference in the squad is that all-rounder spot. For this trip, we've gone with the spinning all-rounder as opposed to the medium-pace fast bowling all-rounder we had in Stoinis for the World Cup, and now we've gone with Agar. So that's just the main difference, I think, when you have when you're picking a squad for certain conditions. Yeah, I think it's important that we come here and try and continue that good form that we've had for the last few months in terms of the T20s against Sri Lanka and Pakistan, and then the tests against Pakistan and New Zealand. I think the way that the guys have been playing has been very good. Obviously, there's been a lot of wins, and one of the big challenges for our team is to continually keep improving, especially in away conditions. Most teams around the world now are very, very comfortable playing at home. So for us to be able to go away and continually win and challenge the best teams in the world on a regular basis is really important to us, and something that we're excited for the challenge. We obviously won here last time. We came 3-2, so to have that, to be able to back that performance up and hopefully starting off really well here in Mumbai is really important to us. Yeah, that's going to be really exciting. I think the improvement we've seen in Marnus's game over the last 12 months has been huge, and that's been reflected in his scores and the impact that he's been having on test matches. But I think if you look at his domestic one-day record, it's very good. He's batted in the top 4 for Queensland, and the way that our one-day competition's been structured over the last few years, you tend to play in blocks on some grounds where you're playing on used wickets a lot. So they can be quite similar to subcontinent type wickets where they're a lot slower, they spin a bit, and for him to be averaging up around 40 in domestic cricket is brilliant, and hopefully he can bring that form from the test series. It's been amazing, and I think what's really important for him is that he takes enough time to refresh and recharge his batteries, because playing his can be very tough, and he'll be ready to go, no doubt. He's an exciting player. He's someone who just keeps getting the job done all the time, which is really important for us and for him. Yeah, I think in India you have to be really disciplined with the basics. I mean, a lot of the time you can get caught up in worrying about sort of things that aren't all that relevant at the end of the day. I think that what you have to do is do the basics for a long time, and we've seen that in these conditions. When you perform consistently, it's about your top 3 or 4 batters going on and getting big scores, wickets up front. It's pretty similar all around the world, but the really pleasing thing of the last tour was how we were able to come back from 2-0 down to win 3-2 and make a really big statement in that once you get behind in a series, you don't give up. You're always you keep chipping away and take it one game at a time and try to get back into the tournament, into the series, little bit by bit, and that starts off with doing the basics over and over. Yeah, he's obviously a fantastic bowler, and someone who, when you're not playing against him, you love watching him bowl. He's fast, he's aggressive, his execution is pretty spot on, and I think the more and more guys get to face him, the more exposure you get, the more you start to understand how he bowls. So it's going to be important that we don't overplay that too much. I think it's about focusing on what we do as a batting unit against that, and each person having their own individual plans. Each batting style is different. Each player has different strengths and weaknesses. So it's about doing what you have to do to mentally prepare for that challenge. I think both the spin and the quick phase, you have different challenges there. You've obviously got guys, Bumrah who can move the ball, Bhuvi who can swing the ball both ways, and then you've got the consistency of Jadeja, Chahal, Kuldeep. So I think you can't take either of the challenges, spin or pace, lightly. You have to be prepared with your own game plan mentally to take them challenges on, and like I said before, that'll be up to the individual to work that out for themselves, what's the best way to go about it. So at the end of the day, it's international cricket. You can't take anything lightly. You can't put more emphasis on one than the other. Otherwise, you can find yourself coming up pretty short.
It's a pretty broad question. I don't think he was ever down and out as a player. I think the natural progression of him in his career is always sort of when you get to 27, 28 years of age, you start to figure things out. And he's had a bit of a purple patch in terms of his one-day international form. He was challenged in Australia by the Indian tack. There's no doubt about that. He's better prepared for what India present to him on this tour. But I think the great sort of growth in Aaron Finch has been his leadership. I think over the last 3 years, filling that void that Australia had in terms of the captaincy has been tremendous. His growth's been outstanding. His understanding of individuals and how to use them has been great as well. He's got a familiar group around him now in terms of continuity of team coming out of the World Cup. There's been a couple of changes. I think he's just matured as a cricketer, understands his game, understands the opposition, understands the people around him, and it's all equated to him being a really, really fine leader for the country.